All right, man. Wow. So SOS Wrestle Talk back again. So this is a different show than what we normally do, and this is kind of because we always are like kind of missing each other by like a hair, by like by like a tooth length, whatever you want to call it. But you already know me. I'm sure y'all heard my voice a lot. I'm sure you're probably tired of it by this time. But we got requests in the damn comment section. And by God, man, I don't come alone today. I come with my good brother LK. LK, it's good to hear you, my guy.
Oh, it's been a while. Title of this show should be The Catch Up.
Yeah,
We had
I like that.
it's been it's considering what would say what, 8, 7 years ago, nearly 10. We used to do this every single day. There wouldn't be realistically a day of the week where we wouldn't do this. And now it's 11:15 my time, so probably 4:15, 5 o'clock your time. It's a late night for me. It's
Oh,
absolute mental, but I'm glad everyone's all right. And yeah, the comment did it was literally just it must have been fate because I was like, oh, I wonder because obviously I saw you did all the G1, which is really good stuff, and congrats, you did the full tournament. And I was like, oh, let's see. And then there's the comment there, and I was like, oh man, I miss that. And it'd be quite nice if like once a week we just come on here and we just catch up on
I
pro
would, I
wrestling and talk about and that's the thing with it being once a week. You don't have to kind of be like, oh, I need to go home and watch this at this time because we're doing a show. It's like, no, if there's a New Japan tour and there's 3 shows going on in that week, well then we've got the whole week to watch it.
absolutely, absolutely, man. So no, I'm glad to have you back here, dude. There's been so much wrestling since you and I've been on the same show at the same time to go on. It's just kind of like, I guess, like it's like a kind of a catch up. What are you mostly watching right now? And from what you're watching, who are some standout people where you're like, okay, this is who I'm kind of like putting my hat on. Like this is one of my guys or gals that you kind of reviewing right now in the pro wrestling like landscape of whatever company that you're watching. Who are some people that are standing out to you right now?
Oh, I tell you what, I'm very. This is going to be absolutely terrible. Obviously, I watch all the pay-per-views, watch all the big
Yeah.
shows, and I don't know why, but I think it's because since stop doing this, it's because when you do this, you're like, right, I need to watch this, need to watch this. When you don't have that kind of force to, you kind of and it's a thing in the UK with the cinema called I don't know if you guys have this in America, and if you don't, I'm going to go over there and create it. It's basically how much is a ticket to go watch the movies in America?
I'm about to say probably if you're looking at a standard ticket, probably like I'll say like $8.
$8, cool. So we'll say $8. So say if they offered you $10 a month, you would have unlimited access to every film for the whole month.
Oh man, that shit, I would definitely do that. I shit, there's
So,
some see right
so
now.
hence the problem, because it's a really good deal. So a normal ticket in cinema in the UK is about 12, 13 pounds. It's £14 for this Limitless. I shouldn't give them a plug, but it's called Limitless, and it works all over the country, no matter where you are. And you go, you can literally just you can book weeks ahead. It's absolutely fantastic. So I kind of like and then you got your friends like we do NFL. NFL's back every Sunday night. We only watch the 6 p.m. games, so that's what the midday games for you, where there's about 8 games on. There was 8 games on this week.
Oh,
We watched the first one, so that's my Sunday, and then by the time you had your work, partner, and family, it's kind of like the time I got left. I do watch the big shows. I watch the this is not good. Watch all the W pay per views. Watch all the AEW pay per views. I watched the G1 final. Um, but man, my wrestling consumption has definitely gone down drastically. Um,
no, I get it.
it's terrible, Shambolic. That's what part of me wanted to jump on when I saw that comment. I'm like, I miss, because I do have time in the day like today. I came back from work and literally I had a few hours, did my chores, cooked my dinner, and then I literally had 2 hours. I'm like, right, I could chuck on Dynamite. I'm like, I kind of looked at the results of my break at work and watched the Nigel McGuinness stuff. So I'm like, don't need to. I'll just chuck on FIFA, which is a soccer game
Yeah,
in
they
America.
don't know what people is, man. They under a damn rock because people. Please believe. Okay, people over here are probably playing FIFA all day, so they already know.
Oh, really? That's crazy. I can't believe that's big in America.
Yeah,
But to be fair, NFL's definitely got a lot bigger in the UK than when I first started watching. I started watching a couple years back, but like it's definitely got a lot bigger. But there's definitely that in England we have rugby. So there's some people that are kind of very anti NFL because oh, it's not rugby, they wear helmets. I was like, dude, if they don't wear helmets, they're gone. The game's going to be half an hour long and there's going to be 12 concussions and a dead man. Hello. It would not be one of our shows if we did not have technical difficulties. Right, so I'll go back to the actual original question, and presumably this is being caught live. As far as breakout stars that I've enjoyed, I'll
yeah.
probably go MJF. Obviously, really
Okay.
enjoyed the stuff he's done. Obviously, glad Zack Sabre Jr. won the G1. I like the idea of not having the world title match at Wrestle Kingdom. I actually there's something different, isn't it? There's something that's not been, or at least since we've been covering it. That's something different.
Oh, it is.
Um,
It is.
I'm glad he won.
No,
Um,
I think it's well deserved. I almost think I don't think it could. Am I off base by saying I think he probably should have won when we were covering it like every day? He should have won probably at one point then. Like,
yeah, because he won New Japan Cups, didn't he? So he won New Japan
yeah,
Cups. He was in the mix. He was always kind of waiting for that big win, and I'm glad he does it. But my worry is that he'll lose, and then that's that. It's
like me being a Naito fan, because you already know it's still my colors have not changed. So of course I've had to deal with over this past, and it's a lot from a lot of American fans too. And it's just kind of like they're like, oh, Naito's washed. He's this, he's that. Actually, Naito had a really good G1 if you actually looked at it, and that is what it is. But me being a Naito fan, I wouldn't be upset if Zack Sabre Jr. beat him for the belt because I'm a dude towards like, yes, I have my favorites. Yes, I have certain people that I want to win. But if somebody who is coming up and they're challenging and them winning makes sense, I'm all for it. And I think Zack Sabre Jr. winning, he should have maybe been IWGP Heavyweight Champion maybe years ago. But it's just kind of like you think about it in the Gaijin landscape when when we had all the mostly Gaijins over there. Now we still have some, but it's kind of like when we had the Kenny Omegas, when we had the AJ Styles, hell, even the Will Ospreys. It's kind of like New Japan knew they will always have Zack Sabre Jr., so they were like, okay, we're gonna push Will Ospreay, or we're gonna push Kenny Omega, or we're gonna push Jay White. So I feel like it's long overdue, and I kind of almost feel like they've done him a disservice in a way. Okay, because it's kind of like they're like, oh, well, you're always gonna be here, so we can kind of just wait on you. But he probably should have won G1 a little bit ago and the heavyweight belt.
yeah, he's that employee at work that they're like, we could give him a raise, but nah, he ain't going anywhere. He ain't
Yeah,
going anywhere.
exactly. He's not going nowhere. So for me, you said MJF. If I go for the AEW side of things, of course, Will Ospreay. I think Will Ospreay is definitely one of the best guys in the world, man. Like, I know early in the channel, I was very critical of the guy. He's won me over. He's a fucking phenomenal wrestler. Um, I'm a big fan of Konosuke Takashita. I love Konosuke Takashita. He's amazing, and probably my favorite dude in AEW is probably Swerve. Honestly, just being real. Like, I mean, I like Jay White as well, but I just feel like that's a whole nother thing too. Oh man, like because the whole you should have seen me during the whole MJF what was it, Jay White Full Gear. I was just like, man, they're gonna make Jay White lose to a dude who's injured, but that's a whole nother time. But no, those are some of the guys I think stand out in AEW. In New Japan, man, it's crazy right now because I know we used to get on his head a whole lot back in the day, but Yota Tsuji, LK, that man is a star, bro. Like, he is an absolute star. He gets it. He has it. He's definitely a future of New Japan. Um, I think Shota started off well off his return excursion, but I think he was injured going in this G1. I don't know if you saw that. He had a hip injury. He's probably recovering well right now. But yeah, he had like a little bit of a hip injury. Yuya Yamura is going to actually be out for a number of months. I think he has a bicep injury. So a lot of the young Lions, the returning, young Lion class are kind of injured right now. But Gabe Kidd's been doing the thing over in New Japan. I'm a fan of Gabe Kidd. They just picked up Jake Lee from Pro Wrestling Noah. He's on a New Japan exclusive contract right now. And David Finlay, for a lot of hate that he gets online and on Twitter and all that stuff, he had a really good G1 climax. And I think a lot of the hate that Jay White, I said that was a Freudian sleep, that David Finlay gets is me personally, because like I know, we've seen the Bullet Club in every incarnation. We've seen them with Prince Devitt, AJ Styles, Jay White, Kenny Omega, whatever have you. And I feel like people, once Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks took over, they felt like Bullet Club was like a t-shirt type situation. And I think David Finlay and the War Dogs have kind of brought back to what Bullet Club's supposed to be. They're a heel faction. You're not supposed to want to cheer these guys. You're one is supposed to boo them. And that's ultimately what I think they've done. And my long-winded thing, that's kind of the people I'm feeling right now. I think New Japan is definitely in a good situation. But, we'll talk about that here too. But no, those are some of the people that I think are on the rise, if not current,
Yeah, and it's crazy to think how much New Japan's changed since the last time we did a show, man. Like I said, Ospreay gone, Okada gone, Jay White gone.
No, both the Gorillas of Destiny. I mean, both of them, they're in WWE.
I've never. I can honestly say with my hand on the heart. I don't mind Tama Tonga's all right, and I know you're a big fan of them. They're gonna literally, as soon as this Bloodline story's done in 2050, in the next 30 years, they're gonna be done. They're gonna do nothing in WWE. Nothing. They're not. I don't mind Jacob Fatu. I think he's done some good stuff, and I like the fact they're protecting them. But man, some of the AEW basically were like, "Oh, we'll work with you, steal all of your talent." A bit like, "Oh, you still want to work with us?" They're like, "Yeah, sure." It's so one-sided. It's so one-sided. It's like if New Japan went in there and they were like, "Right, we'll take Yoshihashi and David Finlay," you'll be like, "Oh, fair enough." That's mid-card guys. They can get elevated and come back, but they're taking the big stars. And to be fair, it's great for Okada, who's probably making absolute insane bank right now. So good on him. And obviously Ospreay makes sense. Obviously then they also lost Omega. It's just like New Japan's just the guy that the company that makes guys to then be. They're basically NXT to the world of wrestling.
That's very fair, and that's a good point. And also too, because you get your NFL on. I'm gonna throw an NFL analogy out there because I always look at every pro wrestling roster. I look at them as a team. I look at okay, this could be like NXT is the New York Jets, or TNA is the Indianapolis Colts, my favorite team, by the way. When you can look at it like that, and I look at AEW, they're like a super roster. They have an immense amount of talent. Like you said, they've gotten talent from everywhere in the world. And I look at when New Japan lost all those guys, it's like a team losing their franchise players who I'm not saying all of them are washed because they're not. They're not. Jay White, Okada, Will Ospreay are not washed. But it's like you got a lot of good years out of them. And they're like, okay, we're going to another team now. So with that team that they left, they're forced to have to, all right, well, we just lost our star quarterback, which is Okada. Okada's their star quarterback. Okada was their Patrick Mahomes, so it's just like, okay, we lost Patrick Mahomes. All right, so who do we got right here? So they have to replace these wrestlers or players with other players and see what they can do. And I feel like they are on their way to doing that because they have guys like Yota Tsuji, Yuya Yamura, Shota Umino, hell, Gabe Kidd. And I think a lot of those guys that are on the up and come up for New Japan are about to be their next stars, at least from what I'm seeing. Of course, Tony Khan can open a bank book and be like, hey, here's $20 million. And they'll be like, okay, New Japan, see you, which I could not blame them. But I think for the most part, those guys that are going to be positioned in New Japan to be on the up and top echelon of the card, I think they're going to be New Japan lifers because I know you see how Gabe Kidd be talking on Twitter, bro. Like he's reckless, bro. He's just like, yeah, he's just saying whatever you want. And you got Shota Umino, who he's grandfathered in with his father being a legendary referee in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then you got guys like Yuya Yamura. You got guys like I said, Yota Tsuji, and another forgotten guy who we even talked about, Ren Narita, who's in the House of Torture, is also one of those guys who are up on the come up. So I think a lot of New Japan's future, present, whatever you want to call these guys, they're pretty much New Japan lifers. And I think New Japan might be safe, or not safe, but I think they might be fine. In the immediate future, they're kind of going to struggle. Not like they struggled a little bit, but I think they're going to be fine ultimately once, they get through the storm. And, for a little caveat, Takashita had an amazing G1 climax. And for me personally, I know I might be a little biased. He probably would. I think he would suit better over in New Japan than he is over in AEW. Like I think New Japan, he is a top guy. In AEW, he's a decent guy there. So I think he would do fine in New Japan.
Yeah, it'd be good to see him go. And I think fucking AEW should do that. Just be like, look, Takeshita, go over there, do the tours, come back. We'll use you for like big matches. I'm looking forward to him versus Okada when that happens.
Yeah, same. I'm looking forward to that. Now go ahead. I'm sorry.
As I say, the biggest problem is how many they lost, how quickly they did.
Yeah, they did. It was kind of like almost like not necessarily All Japan in 1999, but it was nearly that. But I think for the most part, they're slowly but surely recovering. I think one thing is kind of, I don't know if you've seen him in the G1, but Callum Newman, decent wrestler. He's a very good wrestler, actually. Young guy, so I think he's like 23. I think, geez, man, he's 23. He was one of the representatives of the United Empire in G1, and the way, this is not any fault of his, because he's just being told what to do as far as booking. He pretty much came off LK like we don't have Will Ospreay in the G1. He's going to be the new Will Ospreay. Like the Oscutter's his finisher is Callum Newman's. He's wearing like Will Ospreay-esque like long tights. I'm just like, okay, like I get that you want it to have like you want to position him well, but it's just wearing similar gear to Will Ospreay. I'm just like, that's not a good. That just comes off as Will Ospreay like. And I'm just like, we need to work on that. So that was one thing that kind of took note of from the G1.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? But like you said, 100%, they got some great young guys. So in reality, in a year's, 2 years time, it won't be a problem. You still got, again, you got Naito. How long's he got left? Tanahashi, yeah. How long? Ishii, how long?
Shingo.
Yeah. Shingo it's a long list, but then that I don't instead of going for Gaijins as much as they do, I don't know why they don't look like what they did with Jake Lee, going after, again, it's horrible to say, but All Japan top guys, Noah top guys, Dragon Gate, DDT top guys, and I know that's obviously horrible because then you're damaging their roster, but at the end of the day, it's dog eats dog, and New Japan can pay more.
I think that's actually true, and I think that's kind of why I don't know. We're not behind the scenes between New Japan and AEW. One thing I do think with Tanahashi kind of being in control of a lot of the stuff now, I do think there's kind of going to be like a little bit. I don't want to say a shift, but I think it's kind of going to be a little bit not as one-sided. I feel going on. Because I know they do have those double dome shows coming up in 2025. And I know they got Wrestle Kingdom on the 4th, and I think they have I don't know what the show is called, but they're doing a double show with AEW on the 5th in the Dome. So, yeah, now New Japan or AEW is going to be on New Japan soil now. So it's kind of like, all right, I've got to figure a lot of the New Japan guys are probably going to go over, except for, of course, a couple outlining, factors. But you got to figure now, okay, it's probably going to start turning on the end. And shout out to Tanahashi being the president of New Japan. He's been doing really good work. He's been trying to emphasize the titles more. I still think they kind of have a little bit too many titles. I think the thing about that is too, the KOPW belt is kind of like, I don't want to say a comedy belt, but it's kind of like an all gimmick style belt. So I think that's what protects that, to where it's like, oh, you're not just wrestling regular wrestling matches for it. But New Japan ultimately will be all right. I think they'll be fine. And I got a question to ask you, because I want to ask you this while it's fresh in my mind. I just watched, what was it, All Out. I watched All Out. I watched All In and All Out. Got up at like 11:30 in the morning. Went to my buddy's house. We had a British brunch. We had beans, bro, and we had beans and toast on some British stuff. Man, it was great.
So we're cutting it right there. You had a English breakfast where you had beans on toast.
Yeah.
That's like an English winter lunch. If we're talking English breakfast, man, we're talking some beans, a couple of slices of toast or fried bread, however you wish to do it. You got to have some bacon in there, some mushrooms, some eggs, some tomatoes, some hash browns. Do you have hash browns in America?
Yes, we do, and they're one of my favorite things. I love hash browns, and we had those and bacon. We had those, so we did keep it. Yeah, we had those. So we had British. We had Union Jack plates that we were eating on. We had Union Jack cups, and we actually wrote like British slang words on our.
Go on. What have we got for British slang words? What have we got?
Oh, see, I'm kind of low key in the deep because you know, I watch a lot of UFC. You know, they got a lot of British fighters, so I've picked up on much British slang. So I had Muppet on my cup because I just like that. I'm like, you fucking Muppet. I just like that. So it's just like, all right, that's what's gonna be on mine.
That's so old school. That's something you don't hear. You don't hear that very often, believe it or not.
Really?
You hear prick quite a lot. Yeah, you don't hear Muppet. That's something like my parents would say in like a jesting way, in like a joking way. They'd be like, "Oh, you silly Muppet."
I can see that. That's funny. I can actually see it happening. Like
that's crazy. It's crazy to think how that we're basically the same. I mean, to be honest, that we won't go into politics or any of that crap, but both our countries are just in the shitter. This country's since the last time I saw you, it's gone down about 50%.
Hey, it's still there. It's still there, if not more.
I feel your pain. Like at the start of the show, 8 odd years ago, this country was thriving, and now it's a shambles. But yeah, man, that's crazy. So you were saying before I rudely interrupted about
Oh, you're fine. Got up, watched AEW All In. I thought that was a very good show. Now the thing I have to add, it goes into All Out. My question, because I did watch All Out. Because it's really the hubbub of the internet now. So the Swerve and Hangman spots they did in this match. I don't really care about the chair shot because I know it was a gimmick chair, even though I'm still kind of like about chair shot. What are your thoughts on the use of the syringe, and what are your thoughts on the use of the cinder block? Because I need to know from you.
Firstly, we're talking about it still, and it's been over a week ago, so it's done its job. The cinder block, it depends how gimmick that was, because it didn't move. Because like if it's a gimmick cinder block, surely you would think it would.
Okay. I think that was a real cinder block, man. Jeez.
Yeah, the syringe. I think it's a fine line because I watched. So obviously in the UK, All Out would have been 1 a.m. in the morning till 4 or 5. So that's just not going to happen. So before NFL on Sunday, my mate came round and we were like, right, we'll do All Out first, and then our other mate will come around because there's 3 of us who watch NFL, and then we watched it at 6. So we watched it, and during the main event, it got to the point where we were both kind of like, oh, like we both looked away with syringe because it depends. I think if you're kind of, and I don't want to make me sound like a big pussy, but needles, I'm not a fan of needles, man. If there's like a horror film or something with needles in, I'm going to feel very uncomfortable. So when the needle came out, I was like, oh. And do you remember years ago I used to bash deathmatch wrestling?
Yes, I do.
And I'm just there like, is this? But then it's different, isn't it? It's different. It's meant to be the alternative. It's meant to be, if WWE's doing this, they should be doing that. So if WWE aren't doing that, they should be doing that. So in that sense, it's fine. It's not really advertised for kids, so you can get away with that. I think they just did it because at the end of the day, it was a feud that's been going on a while. It's very heated, and it was a good way to end the rivalry. And obviously, but the cinder block thing, I don't think I could picture anything worse than taking that bump. I think that was worse. That was worse than the syringe and the chair shot. I like the fact that when they did the chair shot, the camera zoomed out,
Yeah.
So they didn't kind of show you live to give it that effect of, oh, you shouldn't have watched that. I thought that was really good.
No.
But yeah, that all in, I couldn't go. I went to last year. I didn't go to this year. I was in Turkey with my partner during that, so I watched that when I got back, and I thought that was a really good show. Really, really, really good show. I thought that compared to the year before, it kind of felt like a big deal, even though there was less people there. Because of the staging was a lot better, the pyro was a lot. It felt like a big time show, and All Out was phenomenal. I think Pac, Will Ospreay. I went into that thinking, oh, this one should be all right. We won't skip this one. And I remember watching it going, oh, this is because obviously if that was Ospreay Ricochet, your expectations are going to be like, wow, this is going to, I'm going to start touching myself. It's that great. whereas with Ospreay and Pac, it's like, yeah, Pac's good. This should be all right. But it was like, wow, I've forgotten how incredible Pac is. But looking forward to a potential Will Ospreay Ricochet match. I think that could be happening at Grand Slam if I'm correct.
I'm like, I seen. I don't want to get into because I did watch the spoilers for the Dynamite show from last night. I think Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher are in a casino tournament for the tag belts or something. I don't know if that's happening.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Yep, I remember seeing that because it's a casino gauntlet thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's on the Grand Slam. They got to save that for pay-per-view though. To be honest, Will Ospreay Ricochet.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he does a best of 7.
They probably will. Like me personally, if I'm Khan, I'm probably saving him. If you don't save it for Revolution, that's a match you could damn near build up to Revolution. You can have Ricochet get some wins, just like what Ospreay said. You could literally have that happen at Revolution. Because I think Revolution, if All In is AEW's WrestleMania, I'm going to say like All Out is probably akin to their. They don't really do the same thing, but it's kind of. I want to say it's probably their Survivor Series is All Out. Like they don't do the same thing. It's probably their Survivor Series. I would say Revolution is their SummerSlam, in my opinion, ultimately. So you could do that match at the All In, or if you feel like you can't wait, why not have that match at World's End? Because I think World's End could be a potential. One, I like the name of the pay-per-view because this is like, hey, well, this is the last pay-per-view of the year, literally like a day before the year is ending. So it's just like, I think that's a good name for it. I could see them doing it in Full Gear. I wouldn't be mad if they did it at World's End. If they saved it for Revolution, build it up right, I think that'd be perfect. But I'm just like, okay, how we going to, it's just how we get there. That's literally, this is about how we can get there. So I think with them putting Ospreay and Fletcher in this gauntlet, which also too, once they did that, because Don Callis did it, I don't know if you peeped it, but Konosuke Takeshita was like, hey, bro, like what? I'm not in it. Like, you're not going to pick me? So that's something we also need to keep our eye on as well. Yeah, no, like for far as me as Swerve and Hangman, this is because I want to see, because you probably can relate to me on this. So, especially with you being in a ring, you've been in a ring before. Like back in the day, because even though we both are very young looking men, I'm quite a bit older than LK. Well, I'll get the secret out. But so back in the day, there would be certain spots in a wrestling match. Okay, you probably know what I'm saying. Just to where it's like they tease a very dangerous spot, but they don't do it, right? They're just like, okay, they tease it, they're not doing it. But it's just like,
German
okay.
off the apron. German off the apron.
Yeah, like German off the apron. That's a great example. German off the apron. There are two, I think there's, before I get to what happened with Swerve and Hangman, there was one example to where I was just like, oh, okay, we're in another realm now. I think it was the first Okada Omega match to where he hit Okada with a dragon suplex off the top rope. And I was like, bro, that's a spot they would have teased back in the day and would never have done. And they did it. And I was just like, okay, we're kind of like, I was like, all right, we're getting into this era. And then that match, coming up Saturday, be 2 weeks ago, I was like, okay, they're going to tease this stuff. They're probably not going to do it. And this was like, oh, okay, they did it. And I'm like, I think maybe I'm thinking about it too much, and I don't ultimately mind it. I'm not really a fan of needles like you. I'm like, whatever. But like looking back, I'm like, okay, I don't mind it. But I'm like, man, we're getting to that era to where it's just like no spot is out of the question now. To where you will be watching the match to where you're like, oh, they're not going to do that. No, like we're in the era to where it's like they're probably going to do it. Like it's just like, oh god. I'm like, and that's. And I don't want to sound like you said. I don't want to sound like a pussy or nothing, but low key, that's kind of scary for me, bro. Because I'm like used to the era to where it's just like, oh, they're just going to tease this. They're not going to do it. Okay, we're in the era to where like, no, we're doing this.
And it's the problem is you once you do something like that, it raises
Yes,
the bar for the next person. So, for example, Mick Foley is doomed Hell in a Cell matches for eternity, because every time there's a Hell in a Cell match, you're thinking, oh, are they going to get to the top? Is there going to anything happen at the top? If two wrestlers are in a Hell in a Cell match and they climb to the top, you're saying, right, someone's going to be thrown off. It's kind of you want it, and it's kind of and especially in AEW where they do crazy shit. And I think this is my opinion. I think they need to have, and this is going to sound crazy, they need to have a bigger roster simply because the style they wrestle at, I think they should have more time off.
Yeah.
If they're not wrestling as much, they can then be at home looking after their bodies. Whereas if they're traveling every week, obviously it's only once, twice a week, 3 times in a pay-per-view week. But they also do those indie shows. It's like, look at Moxley. Every time he goes off, comes back, he's in good shape. I'm not saying he's in bad shape when he's on the road, but when you can tell when he's on the road because his physique slowly kind of goes down. So I definitely think that the style is getting to the point now where you could have a standard wrestling match and it'll be quiet. It's quite, you can't just have a your standard lock up, grab the head, shoot off, tackled, drop down, leapfrog, hit toss. You can't do that. You literally you cannot do that anymore. It has to be lock up, headlock, and then it has to be super super quick, and then it has to be a standoff, and there has to be a standing ovation. Like it's fucking mad. But yeah, that's the only concern regarding that is the bar. We're getting to the point now where someone is going. I don't like touch wood, it doesn't happen, but it's going to get to the point where someone is going to either die or get really badly hurt.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% because me personally, with the violence that happened in that match, no, I understand the storyline called for it because this is a blood feud. I wish they would have kind of had with the whole house thing. I wish they would have had. I think it would have made more sense if they would have done the house vignette like literally the week before All In because he still would have been the world champion and everything. But I mean, I'm just nitpicking here. It's just kind of like, hey, he's the world champion. He got his childhood home. He's on top of the world. He's hadn't wrestled with Bryan Danielson yet. I think that would have made a little bit more sense. But hey, I'm just nitpicking here. But no, that's just my only. I'm with you on that. It's just like the bar. Okay, so at what point, like, that has raised the bar like what 2 notches for violence now, and now you're gonna have people on the independent circuit who don't have insurance, who are getting paid a hot dog and a handshake. These dudes are gonna be doing the fucking wildest shit now, and it's just like, okay, like. And that's literally my only concern. It's just like, I don't, hey, look, y'all grown adults, y'all signed up for it, y'all want to do it, go ahead. But it's just like the long-term ramifications and repercussions of doing something like that. I'm just like, okay, where do we stop? Like, are we going to have to get a gun and shoot somebody and then like they kick out at 2? Like, like, are we on that level now? That's my only concern. And I do kind of worry about that, but it's like, we don't need to see nothing like that in a while. And also, too, like I was watching NXT the other day. I was watching the Last Man Standing match between Trick Williams and Pete Dunne. I'm a huge fan of Trick Williams. Shout out to Trick. I like Pete Dunne too. Pete Dunne's cool. And I'm there having a Last Man Standing match. It's a good match. I mean, it's a nice physical match. But I'm just like, bro, like I just saw Hangman and Swerve stab each other in the face with a syringe and drop each other on the cinder block. So it's just like you going through this table means nothing to me right now. It kind of like desensitizes you from other stuff, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If you go back and watch if you went from Hangman and Swerve and even even Ospreay and Pac, and then you go back and watch something from the early 90s, you'll be like, oh God, what is this? When, the people in the early 90s are going to have longer careers. And And obviously, but then again, saying that, obviously in AEW, I think it does help where 9 times out of 10, if you wrestle on Dynamite, you don't wrestle on Collisions, who are only wrestling once a week. So that does help. But at the end of the day, if you're, aspiring to be a wrestler and, like you said, you're in the independent circuit, you're taking bookings and you're seeing that, and then you're seeing, oh, that's where I want to be. That's what I need to do. So if you don't want to be going to these indie shows, especially some of the deathmatch ones where they're going to start taking it too far, and it is all fun and games until someone does get hurt. And I don't want to come on here and sound like an old man and these guys are gonna, back in the day they never used to do that, but there's no line anymore. You can literally do anything, and it's quite scary. But to be fair, the match before, Brian and Jack Perry, they had a really good wrestling match. There was nothing crazy on there. So yeah, touch wood, we get some Nigel McGuinness and Brian Danielson greatness, so they can take it back to what wrestling is.
Oh, that's a long time coming too, right there, man. And I guess, like me being a Swerve fan, I didn't really know what was going to happen with going into All In and going to All Out. One, I was kind of salty that he lost the belt to Brian. I was just like, Brian don't need this, but but I get why Tony Khan put the belt on him. You got to just like think about it when you look in the history and the annals, whether it be 10, 15 years from now. You'll be like, okay, well, Brian Danielson held the AEW World Title. I mean, he also held the WWE title. So, I mean, that's somebody you would like to hold your belt. So I get it, So I was like, I can't be too upset with that. So
no, and if he's there for what, the remainder of the year, you literally got to make the most of it. If you're Tony Khan, you're like, right, I've got what, 4 months now of being able to book Brian. So if I could book him as the world champion, that will be the biggest draw. Him as world champion, the people pay to see, right, if he loses this belt, not only is it he lost the belt, but his career's done.
Yep.
So it makes every world title match double jeopardy. So it makes you want to watch it.
I think his career is probably going to end, his long, main term career. I think it's probably going to end at World's End. I think they're trying to establish a theme with that pay-per-view because you had MJF's title reign in last year at World's End with the abysmal Devil storyline, which you and I have not really talked about, but what really is there to talk about that? It came, it went, it's whatever. So that happened. I think they're trying to establish a theme with that show with, World's End. I think they're saying, hey, certain people's worlds are going to end in one way or another. And I think this year, the spotlight is on Brian. And I don't know. I'm just like, especially with the storyline that's going on now with him, Moxley, the new Blackpool Combat Club. I don't even know if they're calling each other that now. We don't know what they're even calling each other now. But I'm just like, this has to low-key culminate in a match between both of these guys at that pay-per-view, and Moxley has to low-key beat Brian, because I'm just like, I would want somebody else to, because I feel like it would give them the rub of, beating Brian's career. But at this point, it's like, it's not even like, okay, well, you get a rub for this. This is like Brian's career is going to end at some point. So it's just like, why not have it be to somebody who, in the promo, he said he felt William Regal was always more akin to Brian than he was to Jon Moxley. And they have a lot of history. And so I wouldn't be too upset at that. I wouldn't be too upset if Darby Allin beat him. They both are from Washington, the Washington state area. So I wouldn't be really too upset with that. I guess like my thing with AEW was, I guess like I'm kind of like going over from Brian to this other. I'm kind of, because this Brian storyline with the whole Moxley thing. See if I'm off base with this, okay? Because I could be wrong. I know. Hey, I'm not averse to CTE. I played football and I did wrestle, so I do have a little bit of it. See if I'm off base about this. I think the Brian and the whatever is going on with the Moxley, syndicate or whatever, that's kind of taken away from the Young Bucks Elite storyline, because now it's kind of like, what is going on with that, and what is ultimately going to be the comeuppance of that storyline? Because I'm not even really feeling it. Am I off base about that?
No, and I couldn't give two fucks. Generally,
keep it real. Okay, I love it. Keep it real.
During there was a 3-team tag match, I'm pretty sure, at the All In. I didn't watch it. I saw the entrances.
the most redeeming part about that match is other people from other teams helped each other do the other tag team move. That was literally the only redeeming part about that.
Yeah, it's pointless. A waste. It's especially at the point where it's like if I don't want to watch it, I just don't. So it's fascinating to see what you skip and what you don't skip. But yeah, it's the Young Bucks, and man, they're there and they're doing stuff. They don't need the belts. They're not really doing anything with it. You don't want to see them in FTR anymore. You don't want to see them in the Acclaimed. I actually don't know, literally, at any team in the world that I'd be excited for a match versus the Young Bucks. Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Honestly, I got one, and it's literally because they're not even in the AEW, and it's because it's a novelty thing. I'm like, the Young Bucks can wrestle the Usos, and after that, I'm like, okay, you're done. You're just like, you're done. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but it's like after that, you're done. I just feel like they've effectively. I don't want to say that they've killed the tag team division in AEW, but AEW had a very robust tag team division from 2019 when they started the pandemic era. They had a really good tag team division, and one of the tag teams I like, and I'm like, they should be featured more, is Private Party. I'm like, there is no reason why Private Party hadn't even had the belts once, and they haven't had the belts once. You had Proud and Powerful, but y'all had so much internal conflict, y'all end up breaking those guys up to where they don't even like each other no more. So it's like,
what are they even doing? What are they? What? So obviously Santana or whatever one it was is in TNA. What the fuck's the other one doing?
I don't know what he's doing. Okay, man, and it's a shame, bro, because they're such a good tag team, and they should have had a run of the belt. Maybe they should have had a run of the belts when they were in the Inner Circle as early as that 2019, but I don't know. It's just like weird. They just booked her. And then another guy, like, and I'm critical of every company. I'm critical of WWE, I'm critical of New Japan, team, whatever. Like, if I watch you, I can be critical of you. I can praise you when you do stuff. AEW has messed up Wardlow LK so bad. There's no reason why you shouldn't have a new Goldberg / Batista type character on your roster. But I don't even know what Wardlow's doing. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know what. He's just not on TV. I know that.
It's the biggest problem with AEW without question, because and this isn't to be horrible to Tony. Actually, fuck, I'm not looking for a job. It's Tony's shit at this. Tony's generally shit at this. He'll have a guy that he likes for that month, whether it be Wardlow, whether it be Darby Allin, whether it be Sammy Guevara, Jack Perry, and he'll push them, and then they'll lose a big match to an already established guy, and then that's that. You literally see you're on Dark. Oh, they don't do that anymore. You're on Collision. You know, you're on Rampage. Oh, that's brutal. You're on Ring of Honor, even worse.
Woo!
It's gonna happen. It won't happen with Perry, but Daniel Garcia, that's another one. Now he's in a tricky position because I don't think his style / him would be a good fit for a WWE. And obviously, so if he stays at AEW, yeah, he's done this stuff with Max, and it was generally a really, really good match, and I'm glad that kicked off the show because it was a really good wrestling match. And at the end when he then got his revenge, what's he going to do since then? Was he even on Dynamite? He's going to go back to doing absolutely nothing. So it's like, why are people watching going to invest in these young up and coming guys to have a rivalry which they're going to lose, and then what? And then we're going to just keep going back to the same old. We're going to have Brian. We're going to have Edge. You know, we're going to have Omega when he comes back. Yep. It is what it is, and that's one thing that WWE do well, especially with Triple H in power, is the stuff they've done with Gunther has been pretty well done. It's just they're good at pushing their star. LA Knight, again, they're just slowly building him. They do a good job with that, whereas AEW is.
I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off. Okay, they did a good job with, I think, Damian Priest too, because he was kind of a coward champion at first, but now he look at him, he's a decent babyface.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. They've done a really good job with Priest. I'm trying to think who else they did. Their whole main event scene is so different, and it's forever changing. But when people go up, they then go down a rung, but they don't go down the ladder. Whereas in AEW, when they go up, they don't just go down a rung; they go down the full ladder. Like you said, Wardlow. How do you fuck that up? Like it's like AEW we should just forget about stories. just fucking do dream matches at this point, because the story stuff isn't working. The ratings prove it. The story stuff, it's just not working. Why don't we just do banger after banger? But the problem is they got too much TV, so they can't do banger after banger after banger. They would have been so much better off if they just kept Dynamite and they did a monthly pay-per-view. Like, you could have had a banger every week on Dynamite, little bit of build for the pay-per-view, and that's that. But they're trying.
They are.
Is what
Honestly,
it
you
is.
know what I think it is? Okay, and I think this goes back to like late 2020, early 2021, and I could be wrong about this because I hate to make it seem like we're just crapping on AEW, but we're just keeping it real. We're just being critical. Hey, it is what it is. I think it goes back to then because that's around the time to where 2021, especially to where they were getting guys like a Mero, like a CM Punk, like hell, even a Malachi Black. They were getting these guys before they really had a chance to establish the guys who they really wanted to. Like, we've seen the shirt that they had, printed on AEW. I think it's still there, whether it's the 4 pillars. You had Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, whatever, MJF, and you had Sammy Guevara. Think about where all 4 of those guys are right now. Sammy Guevara is on Ring of Honor, bro. He's a pillar on Ring of Honor. Like, come on,
that show, I want to stress how that is there is nothing in the world I'd rather do less than watch Ring of Honor. I'd rather do my house chores.
Yeah.
I'd rather do anything than have to sit there and watch that shit. I'm sorry, and that's no disrespect to Mark Briscoe, no disrespect to any of the wrestlers in there, but fuck me, does it feel so unimportant. It's so irrelevant. The matches don't matter. The results don't matter. The pay-per-views don't matter. They even still do pay-per-views. How do you even watch the pay-per-views? Who even cares? I feel so sorry. They should literally they need to stop having Ring of Honor guys on AEW. They just need to be right. Ring of Honor is its own thing. It's going to do its own touring. It's going to be in the smaller buildings, and it's going to be on TV like it used to. Exactly the same. It should never have been before Dynamite, before Collision, whoever they do it, whatever they do it, have its own tapings, have its own roster, and then have guys come from Ring of Honor to go to AEW, and then that's that. Then they can't be on Ring of Honor anymore because they're AEW wrestlers. Not very similar to what obviously NXT, but then build Ring of Honor, because then Tony could have a profitable Ring of Honor and a profitable AEW, but they don't. They're just like, well, we need to fill more TV time, so we'll just tape Ring of Honor before Dynamite or Collision, and it comes across as the crowd don't care. Like, I would love to see the viewerships, man. I'd love to see the viewerships.
They literally, man. Like, and the thing about, and you just said it, and you like, if Tony was smart, because he takes a lot of things from WWE. See Christian holding whatever this contract thing is. It's literally the Money in the Bank, but we're not even going to get
That's
into that.
fine. Though that's good. I like that.
I don't mind it, but I'm like, oh, that's literally the Money in the Bank. But so if you book Ring of Honor literally like how WWE books NXT, I think you would be fine. I think you would be okay because you do have some WWE wrestlers come down from Raw or SmackDown and they go down, and hell, the Bloodline was just on NXT the other day. So it's just like, you do have that. But Tony tries to make it to where it's almost comparable to AEW, which is a farce. We all know that it's not. And then the other thing is you always have people from Ring of Honor, on AEW, but it's not even the right people, because it's like Mark Briscoe. Hey, I love Mark Briscoe's one of my favorite tag teams of all time. I mess with the Briscoes all day. Mark Briscoe is the Ring of Honor World Champion. This man is in like random matches to determine who's going to be the contender for like a Continental Champ. I'm like, why is he in this match? Like, he's the Ring of Honor World Champion. You shouldn't be worried about that. Best thing to hear in
if you're a Ring of Honor World Champion, you care about the mid-card belt in AEW.
That's what I'm saying. And then like somebody who I'm not even like, she's an amazing wrestler. She's not even one of my favorite wrestlers, but she's an amazing wrestler. Shout out to Athena. Tony Khan sent her down to Ring of Honor to be like, hey, she can hold this belt and I ain't got to worry about her. She should be on the AEW. Why is Athena on the Ring of Honor? She's like literally one of the best women's wrestlers you have. I don't know why she's not on the main AEW roster, but that's a whole nother thing. Whatever it is, what it is. And then like, so it's too confusing because so if you're the NXT, like my dude, Obafemi, I don't know how you feel about him, LK. I think Obafemi's going to be a fucking star. But that's neither the point. But I'm saying he's the North American champion. He's not like unifying the North American and the U.S. title with LA Knight, just like they did with Bullet Club and I forget whatever 6-man they had. They were the unified champions for a while, which I thought like they were going to just diffuse the Ring of Honor 6-man tag belts. So I felt like that you don't really necessarily need to have them if you're going to have the AEW belts. This is like, hey, if you can challenge for one, you can just challenge for both, or you can challenge for both, you can challenge for one. Is what I'm ultimately trying to say. And this is like, oh, then they broke them up, and this is like, okay. And then you have people from Ring of Honor holding belts, being on AEW like all the fucking time. And like I said, it's literally not the right people. They had like Wheeler. It's crazy. So like, because I like Lee Moriarty, who's the current pure champion right now, who's literally on the Ring of Honor. He's not on AEW at all. It's crazy. Wheeler Yuta on AEW holding that Ring of Honor pure belt. And me personally, if I had to pick between two wrestlers, I would much pick Lee Moriarty over Wheeler Yuta, because even though they might be the equal technically proficient, I think Lee Moriarty has just that little bit more charisma than Wheeler Yuta has. And it's just like, all right, I get what you're doing, but it's like, are they going to be separate ultimately, or are they going to be together? That's what I'm trying to. I was winded and long as hell right there. Sorry about that. But are they going to be separate, or are they going to be together? Because it's like, at least in NXT and WWE, they're boundaries. You know what I mean? This is like, okay, these are the NXT belts. The only belts I think that float on WWE are the women's tag team belts. I think they can go down to NXT, but I could be wrong. But I think those are only belts. But I mean, ultimately, any belts could float, but we know what belts are defined. You got NXT belts. Belts are going to be on SmackDown. Belts are going to be on Raw. On AEW, there's no really definitive, okay, these are Ring of Honor belts strictly defended on Ring of Honor. Let's not forget the FTW belt, which Hook has. What I don't know why that's still even a thing, but they have belt. The people, it's like they don't have too many belts. It's like they don't, but they're not defined to where they can be defended exclusively and where they can go. It's just like, okay, they have these belts and they can float anywhere,
Yeah, it's just a kerfuffle, isn't it? Really, it's they do what they want, and fair play to them. They're doing all right. But yeah, Ring of Honor sucks, and it sucks.
Okay, like you said, there's so many other things I'd rather do than watch Ring of Honor.
You know what? I'm quite annoyed at you for knowing who the pure champion is. I think.
Well, the only reason I know, okay, it's because of YouTube, bro. Like, wrestling on YouTube is definitely all in my like recommendations. So sometimes I'll just watch videos. So it's like, oh, Lee Moriarty, you want to? Did I buy the pay-per-view? Hell no, I'm not buying. If Ring of Honor pay-per-views were like $10, I'd probably buy. Okay, it's $10. He's charging $49. I'm like, bro, why am I gonna pay $49.99 for Josh? Nothing against Josh Woods. Nothing. Well, I'm not. You don't feature him enough. Why am I gonna pay $49.99 for Anthony Nese, bro? You don't care about it. Why should I care about it? Like, that's like
awful. $50. $50. That's crazy, man. That's absolutely crazy. I remember the last Ring of Honor show I watched. It was WrestleMania weekend. I can't remember which one it was. This WrestleMania, because this is typical English. Make it, because obviously it's midnight UK start time. So mate came round about 5 o'clock, and we're like, well, we'll watch some of the other stuff that's gone on in the WrestleMania weekend. So we went to the chip shop, got some fish and chips, which is rare because it's rare that they're open on a Sunday. So it's a little treat that was. And I remember we sat down, we put Ring of Honor on, and Carl Fletcher was facing. It might be Josh Wood. I can't, because the name rang a bell. And I remember we sat there watching it, and we just looked at each other, and we're like, "Fuck that!" And we just turned that off. We were like, "No." I think we watched the Bloodsport. Instead, it had the one with Nick Nemeth and Mike Bailey. That was quite fun. And it was just like, if that was 3-4 years ago, and the Ring of Honor show, we'd have watched all of it, and we'd have been as excited for Ring of Honor as we would have been for WrestleMania.
Yeah, but it's like they don't. I think literally the last Ring of Honor show was like, okay, this was not like it was. They do have good shows, because I think the last match between when they had FTR and the Briscoes, that kept me semi interested in Ring of Honor. But I think
that's an AEW match.
Yeah, I know that's literally an AEW match, but they didn't have Jay Briscoe on Ring of Honor or on AEW TV, but before he passed away. Shout out to Jay Briscoe, one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, by the way. But no, also too, LK, and like, I hate to even say this, but man, you probably can relate to me, man. Hey, look, at this point, man, I'm a grown ass man. And NXT, like shout out to my boy Trevor, because I watch wrestling with him a lot. NXT is the cake factory, bro. Hey, shout out to Jada Parker. Shout out to Lola Bice. I love Roxanne Perez too. Hey, they just have some very talented women in more than one ways down at NXT, and I'm a fan of it. That's all I'm gonna say.
On that bombshell, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, no, man. I know you got. Yeah, man. You got to. We've been going long. You got to get some rest and everything. So, but no, yeah, we gonna make this a weekly thing, y'all. So me, okay, gonna be back at y'all. We gonna try to make this once a week. This catch up with all the good stuff. So we, like he said, we gonna call this to catch up. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think. Do we got any big wrestling this weekend? I know they just had a couple New Japan shows. We had Hiromu Takahashi wrestled Hironari for the Never Openweight Championship. He didn't win, but I do like the fact that junior heavyweights are finally challenging for that belt. Something we've been clamoring for I don't know how long on this channel.
Fucking years.
I know, right? Like so many years, man.
I mean, to be fair, there's loads of Road to Destructions, and then there's the Destruction in Kobe, which is the 29th. WWE's not got pay-per-view till October, same as AEW. We could probably just catch up with the Road to Destruction tour.
Bro, we honestly too, I know when I do it, I mostly I stick to the Japanese side, but I feel like whenever we get together, we can do it all because I'm literally watching all that stuff. And it's like, why not talk about it with you if we're going to be watching it? You know what I mean? So it's just like, fuck, I'm watching it already. So
yeah, and that's a really good point, especially because by doing it weekly, there could be some weeks where, if there's a W and an AEW pay-per-view and a big New Japan show, we rather than doing 3 separate videos, we could just do one big one.
Exactly, man. You know what I mean? So it's just like we just might as well do that. So I'm hoping we can knock this out. And I'm trying to get this new job so my hours be different, but that's a whole nother thing. You know what I mean? But we ain't even gonna get into that. But nah, okay, I'm just glad to be back on here with you, brother, because it's good to hear you. You sound healthy. I'm healthy. We all healthy. Channel growing. So yeah, this y'all go ahead and like down there. Go ahead and subscribe. Y'all ain't gotta share, but like I tell y'all every time. That like button, that subscribe button, that's free 99. It don't really cost you nothing, bro. That's like breathing. All you gotta do is press that button. That's all you gotta do. That's literally, if you press the subscribe button, you might as well hit the bell. What the hell? Hit the bell. You might as well do it.
You don't even get taxed on it. That's the crazy part.
No, and LK, no, both our governments is about tax, and you don't get taxed for doing that. So come on, man.
Dude, it's crazy. You get taxed when you die. It's mental.
Okay, any last words you want to get out of here before we close this?
I'm so glad to have done this. I was actually, I sent a message to my partners. I sent, it was like 9 o'clock because we started this about 11. I was like, is it sad that I'm actually really excited? I was like, this was because obviously since being with her, I haven't, done this like I used to. So she has no idea, and I couldn't do that to her, being like, right, I'm going to do every show live, and I couldn't do that to her because she'd end up never seeing me. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to doing it, once a week, and just being able to come on. We can talk about the news, talk about the wrestling we've watched, and just because I know when I listen to a podcast, I like them where I don't listen to ones that are just like reviews of one show. I like kind of when it just flows. They talk about their normal life, they talk about wrestling news, they talk about a show. Obviously, when there's a big show, whatever, we'll talk about the shows, but there's going to be some times where you've watched the New Japan show, I haven't. I've watched a episode of Raw that you haven't, and it'd just be nice to just kind of do like a weekend wrestling summary. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, I'm with it too, and too, like, cause I know you be in it. Shit, I'm gonna be watching UFC 306 this weekend, so I need your pick before we get off here. Who you got? Sean O'Malley? You got Merab? Who you got?
This is gonna break your heart. I have no idea who you just talked about.
I love it. No, it's all good. It's all good. But no, I'm if you ever catch some MMA, I'm always watching that too. We're just about combat sports here. Boxing is kind of, I like it, but it's kind of boring. But anyway,
Blank.
Yeah, it is. It is, man. It is. But no, LK got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. I got to gamble. It's Thursday night football. I got to gamble. So we gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.